See, the way the transfer window is going, it really looks that certain players that we've known that were linked to certain clubs, it's not going to happen. Like, really, how the turn of events seem to be unfolding, it looks as if that's what's going to happen. Because, see, in the last few hours, the conversation around Alejandro Garnacho has extended. The Femi Lopez Barcelona conversation has gone to a next level. And in a lot of things, especially at Chelsea Football Club, tomorrow there's going to be the big one, UEFA Champions League draw for Chelsea Football Club. And we all know who is going to meet who. The likely teams that the various teams are going to meet possibly in the UEFA Champions League. This is Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Thank you very much for choosing us. This is your best place for football tactical analysis. For your pre-match, post-match, all other footballing conversation, the best place for you to come is here on Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. If you're not subscribed to the channel, then subscribe, turn on notification. In the notification turning, do choose all, just so anytime there is content here, you are first to have it here on Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Let me say a big thank you to the two people who have made the show a possibility. First off, Yesumo Spare Parts Dealership Shop. I've said it several times. Charlie, so open the best spare part dealership shop, party, you don't have to look anywhere than Yesumo Spare Parts Dealership Shop. They are in Accra, Abosokan. If you are not close to Accra and Abosokan, and then what you want is that you want them to deliver your things to you, they do what they call the nationwide delivery. The nationwide delivery. Call Yesumo on 059 313 8221. 059 313 8221. Yesumo will take good care of you. Of course, if you are also in search of the best clothing and apparel shop here in Ghana, then the best place for you to go to is right there in Tudu at our flower station. Go right there and then contact MOB Clothing. MOB Clothing. It's the best place for anything apparel that you want to wear. MOB Clothing. Just go there and they'll give you everything, your belt, your shirt, your shorts, your tops, everything that you need. It's at MOB Clothing. If you are not in Accra, if you're also not close to Tudu, then call them. They do the delivery services for you on 0200 668 708. 0200 668 708 on 024 7277 140. Make sure that you go straight to MOB Clothing. That they take a very, very, very good care of you. Let's get straight. Today, there are a lot of things to peruse and delve and then talk about and then make sure that we talk about on the transfer market. And the big one is that Chelsea and then Alejandro Garnacho and Manchester United, it's a three-way affair. Finally, it looks as if there is that closure between Chelsea and then Manchester United for Alejandro Garnacho. This evening, there was a penultimate meeting between Chelsea and Alejandro Garnacho. We've spoken about Garnacho. I've told you what my personal thoughts on Garnacho are. Essentially, Garnacho is a much more important player to Chelsea than I think, because if not for nothing, on my Chelsea for us, I had depth in Omni or the left-hand side, because on the left-hand side, and you only advance here, your friend of Jimmy Bino Giddens on up and I had the pure out and out left winger of Chelsea team, especially when Chelsea are very, very close to finalizing a deal for Brentford friend Tyreek George to move on to go to AS Roma to go and play the football over there. It is clear. Sir Brentford, your friend Alejandro Garnacho, the next player for Chelsea Football Club. The bigger problem has been price. Makani several times. Manchester United have not handled the issue of Alejandro Garnacho well. Everybody knows this. Among handle year, this is a player on your issue with the coach. They've allowed the coach to not use the player. The player has not even trained with the main squad almost every time. Even Alejandro Garnacho anchor preseason with the Manchester United team. So obviously, this is a player that Chelsea and a lot of people that wants the player feel like the evaluation of Alejandro Garnacho has dropped. So if the evaluation has dropped, then why would we go in there and then go for a player that evaluation has dropped? The good news coming over there for Chelsea Football Club is that just this evening, Manchester United and Chelsea are close to agreeing terms for Alejandro Garnacho in a deal between 35 to 40 million pounds. I said it. So if you get up to 50 million for Alejandro Garnacho, then that is. See, Manchester United should just say thank you, because Alejandro Garnacho, nobody will pay 50 million for him. Akoshua 25 million plus add-ons of, feasible add-ons of 5. And then getting your account somewhere around 5 million for bench friend Alejandro Garnacho. Again, if you go to transfer markets and then you look at the statistics of Alejandro Garnacho, it's interesting. Very, very, very interesting in terms of Alejandro Garnacho, the player that he has come in, how good he is and stuff like that. The conversation, how, in fact, the quality of Alejandro Garnacho in that team, of course, transfer market gives us all of that, and we'll go through how does he help Chelsea. The good thing with Garnacho is that he's a very, very direct winger. In fact, it's an open wing or very direct on the wide area, come directly at you, create chances in that regard. Alejandro Garnacho is a very, very good player in that regard. He gives you that wide play. He gives you that quality from outside. He's a good player. Last season, in the English Premier League, the last 12 games of boy, Alejandro Garnacho played 12 games in the year, 2 assists, 2 goals. He won 43 duels, the pass accuracy of 81. In fact, at transfer markets, they say that Alejandro Garnacho can play on the left and can play on the right. Of course, he is the right-footed left winger. So usually if you play him on the right, that means that he cuts in onto his right foot and then play on. Now, in games where the game is stretching and then you need crosses, you've thrown in a certain layam the lap, say you spam crosses baby into boxing manner. What Alejandro Garnacho, when he comes on, does is that he puts those crosses from the wide areas for a certain Alejandro Garnacho to come in and get a job done. Of course, Alejandro Garnacho is an Argentine, but he was born in Madrid on the 1st of July 2004. He's 21 years of age. He's Argentine, can also be known as a Spaniard or an attacker, left winger, right-footed over there for Manchester United. The current contract of Manchester United expires in 2028, so it's fairly a long contract for Alejandro Garnacho. If you look at him in the English Premier League, he has played 93 games over there, 16 goals, 10 assists, 334 minutes per goal, and then 5.345 minutes per goal involvement there. So that is very, very interesting in Alejandro Garnacho. He has played also in the EFL Cup, FA Cup. He has played in the Champions League. In the Champions League, he played 6 matches. He scored 1 goal, no assists, 300 minutes per goal over the 80. Alejandro Garnacho has some interesting stuff. In fact, one of the things that came up in that conversation between Chelsea and Manchester United in and around Abrante friend Alejandro Garnacho was the fact that you, Chelsea, you sold Noni Madueke to Arsenal Football Club within a fee of somewhere around 65 million to Arsenal. And you think that we are going to let Alejandro Garnacho go for less of that. So that's exactly what was going there when it comes to Alejandro Garnacho over there. He has had 8 caps for the Argentine national team. He has won the FA Cup. He has won the Carabao Cup. He has won the EFL Cup. He has won the Copa America. He has got some very, very, very good, very, very, very good trophies over there for Alejandro Garnacho. Very, very interesting player. The statistics are interesting for Alejandro Garnacho. If you look at the quality that he comes with, how good he is in the Premier League, how good he is on and off the ball. The good thing, however, is that Chelsea are close to agreeing a deal for a young man called Alejandro Garnacho. So we'll see exactly how things are going to go. And Fabrizio Romano in the last few hours was saying that Chelsea confirmed their proposal worth 30 to 35 million with total package waiting for United green light. So Chelsea has sent 35 million to 40 million for Alejandro Garnacho. Apparently, that is the deal that they can do for Alejandro Garnacho. I don't beat me. I am a branch and Chelsea. And I said the last time, said this morning, I realized that Alejandro Garnacho Chelsea getting Alejandro Garnacho is much more of a priority than even Xavi Simons coming in, because on the left wing, it's only Jimmy Bino Gittins that's in the team. And Jimmy Bino Gittins doesn't have that experience in the Premier League. Chelsea believe that Alejandro Garnacho had that quality to the style of play that they want to play. So like I've said, that is exactly what it is. Direct winger, plays up the left-hand side, right-footed, Argentine, 8 caps for his country. No goal for them. He has about 300 minutes per goal, about 5.5 minutes per goal involvement in there. It's good. I'm giving the numbers that Alejandro Garnacho was able to get in the English Premier League. We'll see how things are going to go. But the good thing is that doesn't mean that Chelsea have stopped their pursuit for the man called Xavi Simons. That is the good news. It doesn't mean, even after the fact that Chelsea have contacted Fermin Lopez's people. In fact, this afternoon, one of the things that I have heard, and I've tried to inquire and see if that makes sense, is the fact that Marc Cucurella is leading a charge of Spanish entourage people who have been speaking to Fermin Lopez to consider Chelsea's proposal and then move from the Catalan club to go and play for Chelsea Football Club. And that is particularly interesting because Fermin Lopez, young player, the Euros under 21, the last time in the Olympics, he balled very well for Spain. In the Barcelona team, he plays very, very well. He's a kind of player also, if you look at transfer market, they'll tell you that he can play off the left, can play off the right, can play centrally, but more or less an attacking midfielder. A player that you know also in the age range and age brackets of the Alejandro Garnacho guy. So definitely when it comes in, he adds some spice. But the good news is that Chelsea are saying that that doesn't mean that they have turned their eyes away from Xavi Simons. They still want Xavi Simons. In fact, Xavi Simons is number one. I explained this morning on Insura that Chelsea believes strongly that Xavi Simons is the number one. And he is slightly a different player. Now, Xavi Simons is more of the ball carrier, deep playmaker, tight space controller, offer ball from deep, can carry it up and then move on. I said it several times. I'll always use that Crystal Palace game as an example. For you to have a player, when you play against a team that clogs the middle of the park, the team that makes it too compact and prevents you from having spaces. You know? When you have a player like Xavi Simons, he picks up the ball from areas and then drives through them. He picks up the ball from paths and then walks through them, create chances for you and make things happen over there for you. And that's exactly what Xavi Simons gives to Chelsea Football Club. And that's why Chelsea are very much keen and interested in getting the man that is called Xavi Simons in the club. So we are definitely going to see the advent of Xavi Simons at Chelsea Football Club, even after there is a conversation around Fermin Lopez. So, I mean, I'll give you the updates over there. What we heard in the last few hours is that when you go to Tottenham Hotspur, they have gone back to Xavi Simons again. They've gone to Xavi Simons. Now, catches Xavi said, Jack, why are you still waiting for Chelsea? They are delaying. We are Tottenham Hotspur. We can do the deal for you. Come and play for us because Eberechi has gone to Arsenal Football Club. We've not gotten our man. I've told you, the transfer window is for the cannon. It's for the bad people. It's for the people that are swift. It's for the people that want to do the things that they want to do. That's exactly what these people have run the transfer business over. Tottenham Hotspur are holding talks over a bid over rival Chelsea's Xavi Simons as it stands now. I've said it several times. For me, if Chelsea, Tottenham sign Xavi Simons, then it means that they change their mind on him. I don't think that Xavi Simons will wait for that long and then Tottenham Hotspur will just come and grab him. I think that it's far more difficult for Tottenham Hotspur to even try and convince Xavi Simons to be their player rather than Xavi Simons even agreeing to go there. So, I mean, it's clear that Xavi Simons is rather going to be a Chelsea player than any other thing. So, it's very, very close. The Alejandro Garnacho to Chelsea, it is almost there. In fact, we are right there to see Alejandro Garnacho to Chelsea. And then very soon, there is a likelihood that we are going to see a possibility of seeing a certain Xavi Simons also joining Chelsea Football Club. The update is coming thick and fast. If you listen to David Austin, he has been talking about Christopher Nkunku and the kind of things that Nkunku has been saying and where Nkunku is going to go. And this Austin said in the last few minutes, he says, I think the Nkunku one is now linked to Xavi Simons. Like I said, Nkunku happens to maybe Simons goes to Chelsea. If Nkunku does not happen to Leipzig, then maybe Simons doesn't happen. This could be a late one and also possible that nothing happens when it comes to Xavi Simons over there with respect to Nkunku. But I'm hearing, in fact, in the last few hours, even clubs of the likes of Bayern 04 Leverkusen has been in the, they have asked questions about Christopher Nkunku. Bayern 04 Leverkusen looks like they want to get a job. And this up from Sky Germany are reporting this afternoon on a certain Christopher Nkunku. What it says is that Bayern Munich remains interested in Christopher Nkunku. I said it several times. But see, Bayern, however, the chance of Chelsea loaning the French striker is currently slim. The Blues prefer to sell the former RB Leipzig star permanently. In fact, the critical thing that people have to understand on this Nkunku deal going on loan or not is that it is also to some extent tied to Nkunku and Jackson going on loan. Now, Chelsea have just one more international loan left. Just one. The rest can be local. It can be in England and stuff like that. They have just one more international loan left. So between Nkunku and then Nicolas Jackson, only one of them can go and play for FC Bayern Munich on loan. What we heard this afternoon was that Bayern looked like they were interested. They have sent an offer to Chelsea 50 million round package for Nicolas Jackson. 30, I think 40 million or so when it comes to net obligation to buy next year, and then a loan fee of 10 million. That is what Bayern wants to buy a certain Nicolas Jackson for. So if Nicolas Jackson goes on loan and then later on, it means that Nkunku cannot go on loan. You have to sell Nkunku permanently. If Nkunku goes on loan, the obligation to buy, it means that you cannot sell Nicolas, you cannot take Nicolas Jackson on loan. You have to sell it permanently. Mind you, whatever the case, if it's a loan, it has to be a loan with an obligation to buy, or else that deal does not materialize at all. It does not materialize at all unless it is an obligation to buy in that regard. And still, according to Sacha Chavalleri, he says that Xavi Simons is still leaning towards Chelsea with clear preference for the Blues already expressed to RB Leipzig. Chelsea are about to sell Christopher Nkunku in order to make space for Xavi Simons. So Xavi Simons to Chelsea definitely looks like another one that's going to happen. It's going to be a very, very interesting, as I told you at the beginning of this one, that it's going to be a very, very interesting end of the transfer window here on Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. In fact, on the final day of the transfer window, we'll bring you live for 2 to 3 hours. We'll be here with you. We'll go through it. We'll talk about things. We'll analyze things. So you will talk about, we'll read all the, all the comments that you bring in, and we'll talk for almost 1 hour. We're going to be on the transfer live for you. The deals that will delay, the deals that are going to be early, we will be here on Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. So we'll see how things are going to go. So just a couple of minutes. That's when we heard that Manchester United, Chelsea have sent the package to Chelsea, to Manchester United, and it looks as if Nkunku, looks as if Alejandro Garnacho is going to be a Chelsea player in the next few hours. Like I said, Tottenham Hotspur tried to tap in on Xavi Simons, but he is waiting for Chelsea. I think that Chelsea has to do the right thing. If you ask me, between Fermin Lopez and then, of course, Xavi Simons, the one player that Chelsea really do want, that Chelsea need in terms of quality and how they want to play, is Xavi Simons. It's Xavi Simons. He's the one that gives a different tactical approach, different plan, the dynamism in terms of Chelsea's attack, how to break down those low blocks, because Chelsea are going to play against a lot of low blocks, and you need to break down those tight space teams a lot, or else you won't be able to do the job when it comes to those games. So, we are waiting. We are really, really waiting to see how those games are going to go on from there. I wanted to tell you about Nico Jacko's deal also. Bayern Munich, big one for Nico Jacko. Big one for Nico Jacko. They are very much interested in Nicolas Jackson. In fact, like I told you earlier on, Chelsea and Bayern are making progress just 26 minutes ago for Nicolas Jackson deal. Talks between the clubs are currently advancing, and both parties are confident about reaching an agreement over there for Nico Jacko. So Nico Jacko looks like he's going to go to Bayern Munich. Like I said, once Nico Jacko or Nicolas Jackson goes to Bayern Munich, it means that the international loan is done, especially on a loan with an obligation to buy. It means that that part is closed, and Chelsea cannot send any player on loan again. It has to be purely permanent deal, or else that cannot happen. Bayern again today, they resume club-to-club talks on Nicolas Jackson, and we'll see how things are going to go on in terms of Chelsea Football Club and where each player is going to go and play when it comes to the player. Chelsea are still, apart from Nkunku, there is the big one I told you yesterday also about Tyreek George. Tyreek George, big player from the Chelsea Academy. In the last few hours also, AS Roma for some days now had sent the entourage to England and London to convince Tyreek George to be their man. They said, hey, you need to be our man. We need you on that left side. We think Chelsea don't believe that you are the guy to really take them to where they want to go, but we trust in you. They spoke to Tyreek George's entourage. His entourage says, oh, great, Charlie, we want Tyreek George to come in. We want him to come in and come and do the job for us. We believe him. If you can give him a good place and then help him in Roma, we don't mind. We'll bring Tyreek George in. And Chelsea have asked AS Roma to pay somewhere around 30 million plus bonus on possible sale for a 19-year-old left winger Tyreek George. In fact, a lot of people think that it's a little bit high for a 19-year-old boy who hasn't played so much for Chelsea Football Club, and maybe Chelsea don't particularly need him too much. Paying 30 million plus is too much for him. According to Foot Mercato, Saudi side Neom FC are preparing a transfer for Chelsea player Axel Disasi. Axel Disasi is also another one that is in for a transfer conversation at the stands now. He has also been subject for transfer conversation when it comes to everything that Chelsea are going to do. In fact, in the last few hours, one of the things that has been happening in Chelsea's Cobham Training Center is that once you enter the training ground, you enter their gym, they have a new signage there, a new signage at Chelsea Football Club. And what they are saying is that win the next trophy. That is exactly what Chelsea new signage is for the boys. That win the next trophy. Sort of telling the boys that after the Club World Cup win, we need to go on again. We can't stop. It's about the next trophy, and that's exactly what we have to make sure that we do in the next game. So the Chelsea media team, the Chelsea psychological team, they are trying to big up the boys. They're going trying to push them to go in there and then win something more other than the Club World Cup that they were able to win the last time. So we are definitely going to see if the Chelsea players are going to win the next trophy this season. A very, very interesting conversation is that tomorrow there is a Champions League draw. Huge one. In fact, big one. And already a lot of Barcelona fans have been telling Chelsea that, okay, if you say you want Barca, you will get Barca. Can you play? Can you not play? Paris Saint-Germain, Chelsea, Real Madrid, Dortmund. There is also Inter Milan. And all of these teams, 6 of them, Chelsea likely are going to meet 2. Which of them are you interested and hoping that your team meets? Do you want Barcelona? Do you want Real Madrid? Do you want Chelsea? Who do you want in there as the player that you want to come in and do the job for you in the Champions League? This season, the Champions League is going to be super, super exciting because Chelsea is back in it. When Chelsea are back in the Champions League, everybody knows that it is pure excitement, pure bonkers, pure enjoyment in the Champions League. But we can't wait. Tomorrow, fingers crossed, who is Barca going to meet? Will Barca get to meet Chelsea? Will Chelsea get to meet Barca? Will Chelsea meet Paris Saint-Germain again and repeat what happened in the US of A? Will Chelsea meet Real Madrid? Who are they going to meet? It's going to be exciting in that conversation in the English Premier League. Manchester City have informed Tottenham Hotspur today that they are not changing their position on Savinho. They have told them that they have no intention to let him go, not even for a fee over 70 million euros, seen as a key player for the season and for the future. This also blocks a chance of Rodrigo to Man City. It's clear now that Manchester City have made it clear that they are not going to let the man Rodrigo go to get a job. And Fabrizio Romano says he understands that there are no talks ongoing between Al Nassr and Man City for Ederson, not even on the player side. Galatasaray remain keen on Ederson Morales, but as it stands now, I doubt that Ederson Morales is going to leave the club, and that means that Gianluigi Donnarumma, who I said I don't think is a player that Josep Guardiola would want to add to his squad, looks like he has to find a new place to go and play his football. We'll see exactly how things are going to go on from there in terms of the quality of football that's going to go on, the kind of games that are going to go for the rest of the transfer window. International Center for Sports Studies have named Lamine Yamal and Pau Kubasi as the best under 20 players in the world, according to the International Center for Sports Studies. Lamine Yamal, Pau Kubasi, Warren Zaire Emery, Estevao, or he says his name is Estevo. Estevo. He says that's his name. Wolian, the Chelsea player, is also in there as the 4th, high quality player in there. I don't know. Under Luis Enrique, why Zaire Emery has been struggling. He really has been struggling over there for themselves. Today, Barcelona were back in training. Hansi Dieter Flick trained his guys. Deco was also in there today. It's Deco's birthday. Barca had almost everybody back. Still, Barca do have Oriol Romeo on their books. Barca and Oriol Romeo are on the verge of reaching an agreement for termination of his contract. Of course, Enrique Pena has moved to Elche for Football Club Barcelona. That is very, very good when it comes to Enrique Pena, and then moving on from there. Enrique Pena had to move on. Right after Enrique Pena moving, it means that the signing and then the registering of Wojciech Szczesny has been made possible. It has been made possible as it stands now. That is very, very good one for Football Club Barcelona, because now they can get to have their proper number 1 goalkeeper. Pau Victor says, leaving Barca, the year was incredible for everyone, but I needed to play and grow. And after talking with a coach, and the best thing was to leave. That is about Pau Victor and how things are going to go on from there. Official Enrique Pena has renewed his Barca contract until 2029. What that means is that whatever the length of amortization for Inaki Penal is, the money will reduce over a long period of time, which is good for Football Club Barcelona in terms of making their finances nice. The player is now joining Elche on loan until the end of the season. Maybe at the end of the season, they are going to get good offers for him. Barca will charge at least 70 million for Fermin Lopez to leave. Over according to Mundo Deportivo, it is 70 million. That is how much Barca will charge if Chelsea truly say they want Fermin Lopez. I think that Chelsea still are on Xavi Simons, and that's exactly what's going to go. And of course, my man on the buying space says that he can review that inside buying. There's a serious unease about the reports about Michael Olise's release clause. The club were not expecting this information to surface so early, which explains the defensiveness in Christopher Fuent's official press conference, where after being asked directly, he could not deny it. That hesitation is in truth as close as the confirmation as you will ever hear from an official. Internally, Bayern are nervous. They know Olise's release clause is set between 90 to 100 million, a figure well within reach of most of the Premier League clubs. They also know that Richard Hughes has admitted him, has admired him since the earliest days at Reading, that Liverpool view him as an ideal successor for Mohamed Salah. Manchester City and Chelsea will also be there after the World Cup. The report has already created storm within Stabana Strap, and the reaction from the club has been immediate. There is also an understanding here that the ordinary fan, if a journalist asks an official directly whether a release clause exists, he couldn't deny it, because should the clause one day be triggered, he would stand exposed as a liar and a fool in front of the supporters. That is why Fuent did not deny it when asked, because the clause exists. Instead, Bayern's leadership now instructs their friendly journalists to soften the massive waves caused by the reports, publishing stories that claim not to clause in this place. This purpose is simple: to calm supporters in the short term and ensure that if the clause is ever triggered, the responsibility and then the blame can be shifted onto the media rather than the officials who knew all along. This is not a strategy, it's containment. The nervous attempt to hold back the tide of truth and to end the tide always returns, and time will always restores when it comes to, of course, when it comes to Bayern's issue about the players that they are going to sign. Guys, let me draw the curtain. Let me draw the curtain here of Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. I've given you all the updates in all of the games, all the transfer updates as it stands now. I'll see you later in the hour. God willing, tomorrow morning. Until then, you take care. Bye-bye.